Everyone, welcome to the channel. Today in this video we are going to look at Palantir Technologies, PLTR ticker symbol. We are going to do some technical analysis for the Palantir stock. We are going to keep things simple. We are going to look at the long-term support and resistance levels along with the short-term support and resistance levels. We are going to see if there are any key price levels that we have to keep a watch out for, to see if there is any trend that is happening, and also review the recent price action. That would be for the last couple of weeks, see how the price has been moving, and also find out where the price is headed. All right, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe, like and share this video. And if you have any stocks that you want me to review, please drop them in the comments, or you can directly message me in my socials. All right, without any further delay, let's go into the video. Okay, so let's just jump into drawing some horizontal lines where we find some support and resistance levels. Okay, so here we saw a recent low which is around 650, right, and a horizontal line of resistance around I wouldn't call it resistance because we have only tested it one time, but more than that, I would say the stock needs to probably go past this area where we have kind of created a gap down, and multiple times we have seen that acting as a resistance. Also, that is a resistance back when it IPO'd initially. We see that is one of the critical levels at $10, 10.30, 10.40. Let's just say $10. And recently we see a high. Let's also draw a horizontal line there. I like to keep my charts clean, draw the lines whenever I make these videos. Okay, we see the importance of that level. We saw that previously the stock had bounced before at $11. Okay, so that kind of acted as a resistance here for the sellers, and the market dropping did not help Palantir. Okay, so what am I looking at in the recent term? We see that the price has been dropping. Okay, this has been the trend to the downside. We see multiple times pivots. I've also made a video last week saying that there is some weakness here. We see that here there is a complete engulfing and breakdown. We said the first support would be around here, which we are currently at. We are currently exactly at that support. We definitely did a peek-a-boot down here below the 740 price point. We definitely went down. The only time we have went below that is when in May, and we have clearly shown bulls. We have clearly seen the bulls there. Right here we have seen a kind of engulfing pattern, and the next day a strong move to the upside. Let me draw what I'm talking here. Previously in May we saw that price dropping below that after earnings. Couple of days after earnings, we saw an engulfing kind of pattern. It was not too strong, but the candle is very strong. We see buyers coming in and pushing the stock next couple of days. Even the next day we see that it had bounced around 13% the next following day, and the price had trended upwards. Let's also draw a trend line there. We saw a trend upwards, okay, which was broken recently. With these trend lines, you can even say like this could be a trend which was broken with the gap down, but it can be arbitrary. But here, let's say this is the trend. This was a confusing point for both bulls and bears, right? So that's what happened here. Okay, let me draw a circle. So this is the point where we were not sure if the trend was broken or not. So bears made it clear. We broke the trend even further, breaking down to 740s. So what am I seeing here? If the market bounces next week, we may actually see some form of bounce in Palantir stock. The only time I would consider maybe thinking of trading this would be to the long side. That is if this is broken around 850, which has acted as support previously. We all know supports turn to resistance and resistance turns into support, right? We have seen multiple times the stock not being able to go past this 850. So many sellers there. And after we went past through, we have seen couple of times bounces at 850. So that could be something that I want to see broken first. Okay, and then after it breaks this 850, let me just draw here. If it breaks this 850, right, and maybe comes back here at some point and creates a buying opportunity, which would be the first dip, I call it. So the first dip would be something that I would be interested in it if I want to trade, and the zone that I would want to exit probably would be again at 1040, right? It's not a huge margin for profit. Even if it goes past that, we have a clear hard resistance here, and we are definitely trading below the 200 EMA here. Okay, so that again is a very clear bearish sign. So even if the stock goes past here, and it will encounter this moving average, which would be the 200 EMA. So that would be something that you want to keep an eye out for. Even if it moves, we again will find that resistance. And we are also below the 50 EMA. This green trend line here is the 50 EMA. We are still below that. First, we have to claim that before moving forward. But I do not see any positive bull case scenarios here, at least with the price action, and nothing much fundamental has changed. I don't really talk about fundamentals on this channel because we can clearly trade based on the price action. Maybe some kind of catalyst do create some opportunities, and that also reflects in the price action. Okay, so what am I looking at here? Let me just draw a trend line. So first I want this to be broken. This channel, the downward channel that we are going in, I want this to break. I don't know when it would break. I don't see anything in the recent price action that it says that it is going to break. First, if we hold this $720, this is where the previous buyers have bought into. If we consolidate here and break the trend and move upwards, that's when I would consider it to be moving either sideways or upwards. I want this trend to change if you are a bull. If you are a bear, you still can hold on to your puts or shorts positions, because the next support, next target area, because I see that it is kind of broken while we did a peekaboo. If the market continues to sell off, we are definitely going to go towards 650. If I could even argue, it might go even further lower, because we have never seen these lows, right? If these lows are tested again, we might actually see this kind of price action. Okay, so this could be another price action scenario that could happen, which obviously if you're a bull, that doesn't sound so fun, but we definitely did break this small term uptrend. Okay, please be careful if you're on the long side. We may see a small bounce around here at 650. If you're a trader, you may want to be keeping this in your watch list next week. We may actually see a bounce at 650, which is very close from here, not too far away. Let's also look at the weekly. I have drawn a lot of mess here. Let me just delete all of those. Okay, so let's just keep things simple. Also remove the indicators. Okay, on the weekly, what am I seeing? It clearly broke this trend, an uptrend here, and let me just add that. It's very, very clear here on the weekly and on the daily, and we are moving down. We do not see any buyers, no green candles on the weekly, and we clearly see that we have closed on the weekly below $8, right? Previously not below $8, but below this price point, whichever it is, around 750. Below that we have never closed before. Now we did. So it may just continue, and we may actually see a huge sell-off. If the market sells off, we may see a huge red candle in the next couple of weeks. So be ready to see this going down even further. I want to see some form of strength. That would be, let me see if there is any sign here. Okay, so what I want to see is, let's say this one, right? It's not even strong, but let's take an example of this here. Okay, so I want a green candle, and I want the high of that week being taken off in the next week, like this, a newer high being created. I want something like that happening here. That's when I would consider a move to the upside on the weekly, especially if you're trying to trade long-term calls or long-term options, or even like longer positions. You want to wait until the new high is created, at least on the weekly, and the risk off zone would be the week's low, right? That would be your first signal to maybe dip your toes in or try to purchase. Okay, until then we do not see anything here. We don't really see much volume coming in, or the only time we see a huge volume here is on the down moves here in August 8th, in the week of August 8th, and also the week of May 9th. We see a huge volume only on the down moves. Maybe longs getting out, shorts making their move to the downside, right? So just be careful. We are in for a ride here. We're moving down. So if you're long, just be patient. If you want to be long, just be patient and wait for your opportunity. Don't try to be the first person to buy the dip. All right. Stay safe. Trade well. Peace.